Now check out the fine specimens of manhood gracing our loose lounge today. He's the prime suspect at the centre of ITV1's gripping thriller Injustice. That's Nathaniel Parker. And from a potential lady killer to a man who's based his career on killer put-downs and high kicks. Here ahead of this weekend, So You Think You Can Dance final. Oh, look, it's Nigel Lithgow! Now, our first guest is a man of many talents, a respected actor of stage and screens, both big and small. He's starred in some of Britain's favourite TV dramas, including Land Girls, Bleak House and, of course, as Inspector Linley in the murder mystery series. However, his latest role sees him on the other side of the law in ITV1's brand new thriller, Injustice.
I know what it is you're saying, but that's not who she was. I mean, she seemed so sweet.
She wasn't sweet, Martin. She was professional.
I don't suppose this helps me at all, does it?
Now, as far as the police are concerned, it just confirms their belief that she went into that room with a prior intent.
To blackmail me? Mm-hmm. Give me all the more reason to want to stop her.
Yes.
Please welcome Nathaniel Parker.
Hello, ladies. Well, I must say, this is nice. Oh, whoa! Thank you. I thought it was going to be James for a minute. It looked like it was more of James's clip than mine. That was fantastic. Yeah. Sorry, all my makeup women...
Well, you haven't dressed up for us, have you?
No.
Your jeans and T-shirt. Where's your swanky suit that you had on in the film?
Well, I have actually kept that suit. I did, but the trouble is, I look like him. And I wore it, yes, and people started looking at me very shiftily, going, oh, yeah.
Well, what is happening, because this is the...
What, Injustice?
Yes, we're almost nearing the end now, and did he do it?
I don't know, I haven't seen the end. No, do you know, when I got the scripts, and I looked at it, and I had a chat with the director, and I only got the first 2 scripts, and he said, so you want to do it? I said, kidding? Oh, fantastic. And he said, so, do you think you did it? And I gave him my answer, and I was completely wrong. He said, well, what do you think did happen? So I said, well, then this, and I was completely wrong again. I mean, I tell you, this is one of those, you know, there's always a twist in the tale these days in every story you get.
So, you know, you could look like
influence whether you get the part or whether you took
the part.
No,
I hope it didn't.
I mean, I'm quite interested
no,
when you take roles, whether if you consistently play nasty people, does it affect your career?
I don't think so. I don't think so. I hope not.
Well, it would have done by now, because you're always playing villains, aren't you?
That's not true. Inspector Linley wasn't a villain, was he? No, I mean, the article you were talking about earlier about mugging and stuff, you know, I've stopped with the odd mugging. I've gone, do you know who I think I am?
Yeah. Have you ever done a citizen's arrest as Inspector Linley?
No, but I have...
That would be good,
Not
wouldn't
as
it?
Inspector Linley, no, but I have... actually, I was at Ascot one time, and there were all these armed police around, and Linley was on, and I went out, and they all said, morning, sir. Morning, sir. No, I have stopped and intervened, and I have phoned the police when I've seen someone doing something and said, look, I've seen them doing it, and I've followed them around, and I've got to make sure they've got them. I think it's very important to be involved in the community.
I think you're absolutely right. I mean, I know that there's the fear factor of what you may come up against, but that obviously isn't...
I'm prepared to run. You know where the guy I am?
How community-minded are you? Are you part of an age of...
Oh, I love it. I love it, yeah. We've just moved recently, and thing I like doing is getting my mug of coffee or tea in the morning and going down to the shop. And I will walk with it and drink my tea as I go along, and because I can't move fast with a cup of tea, obviously, just spill all over my new suit, that I go down and you start to meet people. And that's a lovely way of doing it.
And they must feel very reassured having Inspector Linley living there.
It's just like having a doctor from ER. Can he actually do it?
Going back to this, though, did you have to do a lot of research for this part?
No, I don't do any research for that part.
Oh.
No.
Wow. What, you mean being nasty just came naturally?
No, I mean, what? No, James does. He's a lawyer who's in court and he's doing his stuff, but my character isn't like that. He's a lawyer, but he's an oil lawyer, and you never see that part of him, really.
I
like to do... No, I do some research, and some of it's shocking. I took over as McCallum once, and I don't know why, really, because he was so brilliant in the first place, but anyway, I went to a couple of autopsies, and I wish I hadn't. I really, really wish I hadn't.
What, proper autopsies?
Yeah, proper autopsies. And I feel like I'm a member of a club I wish I wasn't a member of. But my dad always used to say to me, you know, do more research, read the book. And I did Far From Any Crowd, I did Vanity Fair, and I didn't read the books for that. Actually, I'd read the books, but I didn't read it again for that. Because you must do what's on the page.
But is it hard to do with this character? Because
oh, this injustice.
Yeah,
yes.
because it's you're not quite sure about him yet. I don't know whether I love him or I hate him or...
No.
You seem to do both very well.
Yes, I think it leads back to your question about do you accept part of you know that he's a goodie or a baddie? And I was thrilled once I played Albert Speer, the Nazi architect, and I always wanted to play a Nazi because I wanted to feel what it was like, as much as I can as an actor, not being the real person, of flicking that switch in your head and thinking, OK, these people aren't humans.
Yeah.
What are they? You know, just animals. So it's a fascinating thing, but you don't feel you're doing the wrong thing. Hitler didn't think he was being a baddie, did he?
By self-conviction.
Yeah.
After all this, though, would you like now to do some comedy or a musical or...?
Oh, there might be something lined up.
Ah.
No, look, you say, I mean, comedy. You've all seen Inspector Lindley. There you go.
Well, your next project's Merlin, isn't it?
I'm doing it at the moment. In fact, you seem to have some of my costume hanging from these lights. My chainmail is here.
Are you a good guy or a bad guy in Merlin?
You know, he's a lovely dark character. He's a very dark presence on the...
In other words, he's a baddie.
Yeah, those are words I wouldn't use.
It's a bit like Janet on this panel. A dark presence.
No. Janet is a wonderfully vociferous voice, an oracle.
Vociferous?
An oracle. And I think that my chap, Agravain, well, unfortunately the series isn't called Agravain, is it? So, which is, I'm trying to get that changed, obviously. It's called Merlin. It's about a much younger guy.
Do you have a special voice when you're doing this thing,
now,
Merlin?
actually.
That
I'm
Merlin
doing it now 'cause I
voice,
talk
when
and
like
shout
you're
so
back
much,
in
much
time.
deeper.
No, but when you're back in time, do you have a different voice?
No, I don't. I wish I'd thought of it, though.
Now, just
like
to completely change the subject, from a man's point of view,
Oh, yeah.
does it matter what shape and size us ladies are? Would it attract you? If we're single, do we need to be slim to find you?
Your researcher lady asked me this question earlier. So when you're in the dating game, I thought, OK, how many years have I been with my wife? And it's going over 20 years. And so I can't remember that far back. But I think if you're seriously worried that the person, if you're losing weight for a particular person, then you could be with the wrong person.
Absolutely.
I think if you're just doing it generally, as you said, to feel better about yourself, then I think that's very important. If you feel better about yourself, then that's great. If it doesn't...
Women, to be honest.
Yeah, well done.
Do I get away with it? Do I get away with it?
Yeah, you did.
I know if I don't, this seat collapses and I go through... Or the green gump comes on me.
We've got you in room 101.
Yeah.
Well, Injustice is on tonight and it concludes tomorrow night on
Yes,
ITV1
it
at
does.
9 o'clock. Let's find out if you did it. But for now, say thank you very much.
My
Nathaniel
pleasure.
Parker.
It's on so quickly.
But when we return, just how much sympathy can you have for a woman who's pregnant and refuses to give up the cigarettes? We're back in a bit.